One Thursday afternoon, when I was tying my sneakers on my way out, there was a sharp knock at the door. Immediately falling into the mode that I devised for social workers, I cautiously approached the door, tiptoeing, readying to peer out the peephole. To my horror, Ma, by this time not in her right mind at all, dressed only in an obviously filthy, extra-long t-shirt, had gotten to the door first, and she was unsnapping the locks. Given the extent of the mess that was spread everywhere in our apartment, rotten garbage on the floor, old clothing, 1,000 cigarette burns and butts on the matted carpet, I panicked. The door creaked open, and my heart jumped when I saw who Ma had let in. A 20-something-year-old white man in a starched suit, undoubtedly a social worker, and he would be obligated to report us and take us away. Unable to fix this big mess, I ran around to clear the kitchen chair for him, and I was wiping down the surface with a towel so he could at least sit somewhere. Just then, Lisa emerged from her room and shocked me, greeting him by name. "You're Matt, right?" she asked casually. Had Lisa called child welfare on us? "You're Lisa?" he asked in a voice that sounded surprised. "Yeah," she told him. "Come on, we'll go sit in the living room. The coffee table should be good." Baffled, I ran to throw on a long-sleeve shirt so I would appear heavier, a tactic that I picked up after one social worker had commented on my low weight and threatened to remove us if I didn't show improvement. Lisa sat on the couch on top of Ma's jeans, tucking her long hair behind her ears. Ma joined her side by side. I sat near the social worker in another kitchen chair, where I felt I might best supervise the situation. The front door opened and slammed, and it was Daddy returning from the store. My stomach tightened into a knot. He came in whistling to the living room and stopped in his tracks, seeing this stranger who was now searching for a clean spot to set down his briefcase. I prayed he would not notice the roaches crawling near his shoes. "Oh, hi," Daddy said, his mood noticeably dropping, his tone now sharp and deliberately unfriendly. "Hello, sir, my name is Matt," the man answered, reaching for Daddy's hand. This guy, his manner was far too polite, non-authoritative, I thought. Something's off. By the look on Daddy's face as they shook hands, I could tell Daddy noticed too. I finished moving some of the plates over to clear room, but the man had already placed his leather case down on his lap instead. Just then, my heart sank into my stomach as I caught a glimpse of Ma, who was obliviously easing her legs wide open for comfort in front of the man from the couch. Daddy flashed me a warning glance and pulled up a chair opposite me, filling in the last remaining space around the coffee table. I realized it was the first time in a long while that we all sat down together. The room was silent. We waited and stared at Matt. "Well," he began, his eyes taking in a full sweep of our room, over the filthy, partially intact Venetian blinds, the busted garbage bags spilling out on the floor with dozens of roaches darting in and out. He tugged the collar of his shirt and cleared his throat. "I've been asked to come here today to share with you some exciting opportunities offered from Encyclopedia Britannica." All of the tension in my body loosened, but only for a moment, before I could draw any relief from realizing this man was actually no social worker. I caught sight of Dad, and I tensed right back up. "Excuse me?" Daddy said, raising his eyebrow, leaning in way too close to the man. "Where did you say you were from?" Daddy's arms were folded over his chest, his chin dropped down, his eyes very suspicious. A moment from 3 weeks earlier flashed back to me. It had been late at night. Lisa and I were watching The Honeymooners, an old rerun, when a commercial for Encyclopedia Britannica filled the screen. A girl and a boy in the commercial were home and repeatedly turned to their parents, two neatly dressed professional types, and asked for help. "Look it up, dear," was all the parents would answer to each of their children's questions. The children did look it up with the trusty help of Encyclopedia Britannica. And when they received A's on their papers, the family gathered to celebrate in the living room beside a crackling fireplace with the coffee table much newer and much cleaner than ours. Lisa's attention had been fixed on the screen. Then, when the narrator invited us to have a free home presentation, which would include 2 free volumes, I remembered now with a certain degree of horror that Lisa had grabbed a pen and jotted down the phone number. It never occurred to me she would actually call. "These are our brochures," Matt said, pulling out these glossy pamphlets from his briefcase. "You can all have a look." Every other moment, he ran his fingers through his neatly gelled hair and licked his lips before speaking. "Would you like a glass of water?" I asked him. I wanted so badly to communicate that at least I was normal. I understood. No, thank you," he responded right away, without ever looking at me. I could feel my cheeks flush hot. "This is for all of you," he said, and distributed to us, counterclockwise, 1 pamphlet each. Before it was her turn, Ma snatched Lisa's copy straight out of his hand. The man jumped, only a little, and quickly continued passing pamphlets out, reaching a wide space around Ma to get to Lisa. I could feel myself begin to sweat. He was sweating too, obviously so. I could tell from how he cleared his throat between almost every other word. He was choking on the rancid smell from the clogged up bathtub. Lisa got out her glasses to look over the brochure. If she felt awkward in any way, I could not tell. "The benefits of owning your very own set of Encyclopedia Britannica are truly beyond measure. Education-wise," Daddy clenched his pamphlet tight in his fist, his knuckles whitening, and he interrupted, "Yeah, every second or so," as though to speed the man up. As Matt spoke, a couple of flies from the garbage buzzed past his face. He pretended to open a pamphlet, swatting the flies with its pages. I thought I would die when Ma finally spoke. "You think you can just come in here and get away with that?" she said, sneering at him. "Excuse me, ma'am," he stammered. Nothing, I said quickly. "Nothing, please finish. Go ahead, finish." Ma's eyes were too wide open to possibly look sane, and she was nodding her head at something unapparent to anyone but herself. "Ma," Lisa said, looking up from her reading, "I told Matt to come here. That's why he's here." Ma continued to stare at him, unblinking. Regardless of Ma's state of mind, Lisa always addressed her as though things were perfectly normal. Then, when Ma's actions conflicted with whatever logical outcome Lisa expected, she became livid. I found the pattern as frustrating as it was irrational. Not only was Ma obviously insane, but it seemed as if Lisa was detached from reality as well. So much so that her behavior could, at times, make me feel like I did not have an older but a younger sister. How much is everything?" Lisa continued, looking up at the man who was shifting uncomfortably as Ma continued to stare at him. "Well, luckily, Britannica offers a variety of payment options." Daddy crossed his arms again and smiled smugly, interrupting. "So, sir, tell me, would this be the exact same set available at the public library down the block?" Daddy had a way of engaging people as though they were attempting to take advantage of him, but he wasn't going to let him get away with it. "Well, the luxury of owning your own set, sir, cannot be underestimated. To answer your question, ma'am," he addressed to Lisa, "there are several payment plans, packages to make it possible for nearly anyone." Forgetting Matt, Ma dug absent-mindedly up her nose with her pointer finger. He pretended not to notice, but he gave himself away with a frown when she wiped it across the arm of the couch. I might have been the only other one to see it. I wished then that I could explain to him somehow. I knew what this looked like. I got it. I kept offering him my eyes so that he would know that I understood, but he would only glance my way for brief moments before looking away again. "Well, what if we only want certain volumes?" Lisa asked, "like your special editions on the presidents or the wars." What was my sister thinking? What apartment did she wake up in every day? If we went days without a hot meal, why would it matter if we wanted to research the Peloponnesian War or what year Abe Lincoln was born? Watching her nod at the man's proposals of payment plans that I knew we would never afford, just as he was probably aware we would never accept, while Ma ate her boogers and Daddy shifted every 5 seconds, I needed for Lisa to realize the extent of how foolish this was, to see it clearly the way that I did.